Michael Stich wasn't just any tennis player. His powerful serve and fearless play made him a legend. But off the court, his bold, often controversial statements stirred up storm after storm, bringing him as much trouble as triumph. But before we begin, make sure to subscribe. In 1992, Michael Stich didn't just make headlines for his performance on the tennis court. He set off a media frenzy with his bold statements about Peter Graf, the father of fellow tennis star Steffi Graf. Stich publicly criticized Peter, accusing him of shady financial practices, including alleged tax evasion and mismanagement of his daughter's hard-earned money. Now imagine the impact. Here was one of Germany's top players openly calling out the father of the country's beloved tennis queen. The media jumped on it, and suddenly it wasn't just about sports anymore. It was a full-blown scandal. Fans and journalists took sides, sparking debates that spread beyond tennis circles. Stich's comments didn't just ruffle a few feathers. They drove a wedge between him and the Graf family, creating a tension that was hard to ignore. It was a bold move, but in speaking his mind so openly, Stich found himself in the middle of a controversy that would follow him for years to come. Stich's victory over Boris Becker in the 1991 Wimbledon final should have been a story of pure triumph, a moment when he reached the pinnacle of his career. After all, Wimbledon is every tennis player's dream, and to claim that title was no small feat. But for Stich, that victory didn't come with the thunderous applause and electric energy he might have expected. Why? Because the crowd was firmly behind Becker, the fan-favorite German star. Becker had won over the public with his powerful personality and fiery passion, and fans couldn't wait to see him claim another title. Stich, on the other hand, was known for his cool, calm demeanor, a style that didn't stir up the same kind of fan fervor. As the match unfolded and it became clear that Stich was on his way to winning, the crowd's excitement was strangely subdued. There wasn't the usual burst of cheers and whistles that often follows each game-winning point, and the silence felt heavy. For Stich, this was bittersweet. He had worked his whole life for this moment, to stand on Wimbledon's grass as the champion. Yet the crowd's reaction seemed almost indifferent, focused more on Becker's defeat than on Stich's win. Some thought his reserved style had contributed to the muted response, as if his calm composure left the crowd unsure how to celebrate with him. In the end, Stich lifted the trophy, a Wimbledon champion, but with the strange sense that his victory had slipped under the radar of the crowd that day. It was a moment both triumphant and quiet, a win that would forever be remembered as one of Wimbledon's most understated finales. The rivalry between Michael Stich and Boris Becker wasn't just about who was the better player. It was a clash of personalities, a showdown between two very different stars. Becker was the fiery, passionate powerhouse who wore his heart on his sleeve. He was the guy the crowds loved, bringing drama and emotion to every match. Stich, on the other hand, was cool and composed, a player who let his racket do the talking without the need for theatrics. Together, they made for a fascinating, if tense, pairing. The tension between them was palpable. It wasn't exactly hatred, but there was a lack of warmth, an unspoken distance between these two titans of German tennis. Fans could feel it too. Every time they faced off, there was this underlying electricity, as if the two were locked in a silent contest that went beyond the tennis court. The German media loved to feed into the rivalry, casting them as opposites, stirring up the drama. This constant comparison only seemed to widen the gap between them. Then in 1997, Stich shocked everyone when he announced he was retiring from tennis. At just 28, he was still in his prime, and fans and commentators couldn't believe he was stepping away so soon. People started speculating. Was it the injuries that had plagued him? Or maybe he was simply tired of the grind, eager to explore life beyond the court. Some even wondered if the constant pressure of being compared to Becker had worn him down over time. In truth, it seemed to be a mix of reasons. Stich was a man of many talents, and tennis was only one part of his life. He had other passions, other interests, and maybe he was ready to pursue them while he was still young. So while fans were left stunned, Stich seemed content to walk away, leaving behind a legacy of cool, calculated brilliance and a rivalry that kept the tennis world buzzing long after his final match. Stich's career was nothing short of impressive, filled with memorable moments and stunning victories. Born and raised in Elmshorn, Schleswig-Holstein, Stich grew up with tennis in his blood and turned professional in 1988. It didn't take long for him to make waves. By 1990, he'd won his first top-level singles title in Memphis, Tennessee, a sign of the exciting career to come. Then came 1991, the year that would define him. Stich entered Wimbledon, the world's biggest tennis stage, as an underdog, but he was there to make history. In the semifinals, he faced the formidable Stefan Edberg, the defending champion and world #1. In an intense showdown, Stich defeated Edberg in 4 grueling sets, sets, winning 3 tie-breaks without breaking Edberg's serve even once. It was a brilliant display of grit and skill. In the final, he squared off against Boris Becker, Germany's tennis darling and 3-time Wimbledon champion. Stich stunned the crowd by beating Becker into straight sets, taking the title and proving he had what it took to be a champion. Stich's doubles game was just as remarkable. In 1992, he teamed up with John McEnroe at Wimbledon for an unforgettable men's doubles final. The match lasted 5 sets and stretched for 5 hours, finally ending on a Monday, an unusual conclusion since Wimbledon typically wraps up on Sunday. Stich and McEnroe won with a 19-17 score in the final set, a victory so epic that no male player since has managed to win both singles and doubles at Wimbledon. And that wasn't all. Later in 1992, Stich and Becker joined forces at the Barcelona Olympics, winning the gold medal in men's doubles, a rare and thrilling collaboration that united 2 great German players. Stich also claimed the 1992 Grand Slam Cup, where he defeated Michael Chang in the final, adding yet another prestigious title to his resume. The following year, in 1993, Stich reached new heights. He claimed victory at the end-of-year ATP World Championships, a tournament where he went undefeated, even defeating the great Pete Sampras in the final. This win made him the only player in the tournament's history during the 90s to achieve an undefeated title. As if that wasn't enough, Stich also helped Germany secure both the Davis Cup and the Hopman Cup that year, a remarkable achievement that solidified his place as one of the sport's elite. In 1994, Stich came close to another Grand Slam title at the U.S. Open, but fell short against Andre Agassi in the final. That year, he also led Germany to a World Team Cup victory, showcasing his strength as both a team player and an individual competitor. By 1996, he was still going strong, reaching the French Open final after upsetting defending champion Thomas Muster, though he eventually lost to Yevgeny Kafelnikov. He won his final career singles title in Antwerp that same year, and in 1997, he claimed his last doubles title at Halle. Stich's all-around skill set, from his powerful baseline play to his deft net game, allowed him to succeed on every surface in both singles and doubles, a rare versatility in tennis. He's also among a select few with a positive head-to-head record against Pete Sampras, one of the greatest players of all time. In 1997, Stich announced he would retire from professional tennis after Wimbledon. He made a final impressive run at Wimbledon that year, defeating top American player Jim Courier before falling to Cedric Pioline in a dramatic 5-set semifinal. It was a fitting end to his career, as he exited with grace from the tournament where he'd reached his highest achievement. Since leaving the court, Stich has dedicated much of his time to his AIDS Foundation, focusing on causes close to his heart. He's also become a well-known tennis commentator for the BBC, sharing his insights and experiences with fans around the world. In 2018, he was inducted into the International Tennis Hall of Fame, a well-deserved honor for his contributions to the sport. On the personal side, Stich was married to German actress Jessica Stockman from 1992 to 2003. In 2005, he married Alexandra Rakowski, and they now live in Hamburg. Michael Stich's journey, from his early days in Elmshorn to his current life, reflects a career and a legacy that have left an indelible mark on tennis. Well, that brings us to the end of today's video. Make sure to subscribe to Tennis Court Icons for more such videos.